a little slow this morning. We're live. Yay. Well,
Yay.
welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with my friend Martha Brown. And we are going to dive into something that she has been able to not only overcome and conquer, but to be able to share with others on how she is able to overcome that busy mom trying to balance work and family and the responsibilities and that ever changing schedules that we have with busy moms. And I just want to start out by saying when I first met Martha, it was online, of course, and we would be in different group calls and I'd be watch her, and I was always so impressed because I could tell she was a mama. She had usually one of her children with her, and I always was amazed at how she handled it all. Like, I knew she had several children, and then on top of that, she is able to run a successful business. And I'm like, that is, and as a grandma that is very involved in my grandchildren's life. Hey, Diane. Diane's on here with us.
Hey, Diane.
It was really, I was attracted to her. And so I'm just really excited for her to share what what she's been working on. And I'm just going to give you a little bit about her, and then I'm going to turn it over to her. Martha is a busy mom, right? She's got 3 kids herself. She knows the struggles of trying to juggle it all, right, without dropping the ball. But she's going to be able to share with us how balls are going to drop anyway, and it's okay. We're always afraid the ball's going to drop, right? But they drop. I love that. I love that. And I don't love that they drop. I love that you have a solution for us.
Yeah.
And that she also shares that it's knowing which ones are okay to drop, right? And in business, wouldn't you love to know that? Like, you need to work on so many things that maybe you just have a short amount of time. So what do you focus on first? So I'm excited to hear this. She helps busy moms strategize, simplify, and succeed so they can have more time to spend with their families and still achieve their business goals. So, Martha, thank you so much for coming on here with us. I am just very thankful that you are going to be sharing this, because this is something I know that I've struggled with over time. But can you share a bit about your background, how you became passionate about helping moms in business find balance?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate being here and so grateful. I laugh because like balance, right? Like I feel like it's this like imaginary thing that we're told as moms, like if you just do this, you're gonna have the perfect balance. If or even as people anyway, right? Just keep striving for perfect work-life balance. Just that's what you need. That's when you'll feel calm. That's when things will start to come together for you. That's when things will happen. And while it's good to strive for goals and those types of things, striving for that perfect life balance, I feel sets us up for failure. Now, that's not
Ooh.
saying we don't need some balance in our lives, but I look at it more of when we're trying to completely balance stuff, like here's work, here's family, but what about all the stuff in between? And let's face it, there are some times where we have to focus more on our work. So it's going to tip the scales. Or we got to focus more if something comes up with our family or us or our health. And so it's more of like a teeter totter or like this ebb and flow of
Oh,
ups
I
and
like that.
downs. And when we look at it like that, it doesn't feel like it's such a huge tug of war with what we need to do. Oh my gosh, I got to make sure I spend 25% on this, 25%, because it's easy to get into the numbers, into the shame of ourselves. Like for me, this week is a really, really busy work week, doing a lot of things. I have a lot of tasks to complete and all of that. And so I have to accept the fact that I still get in these nuggets of time with my kids, but I also know I have to schedule something. Like I schedule stuff for us for next week where I'm not going to work for big chunks of hours so we can go swimming, we can go do activities and that. So
Well, and I love that. And I bet you are busy because you're going to be launching something that's going to help so many women. And I'm so excited about that too. And I want to dive into that because you have a free gift for us. And I'm going
mhm.
to we're going to get at the end, and I want to find out about what that is. Diane says she loves it's a teeter totter, not a tug of war, and I think that's so. What you know, the visual. I'm a visual person, and that is just
Mhm.
exactly what it is. I mean, reality. We want it to be all perfect, but let's get real. You know, we were laughing before we came on here. She had her kids were running and making loud noises, and my great grandbabies are in here screaming at the top of their lungs. I mean, it's just life, right?
Yeah.
And we sometimes we have to pivot as a mom, as a grandma, and or in even if you don't have no any family interference,
Yeah.
right? You have a perfect office, no interruptions. It's still a balance that we have to juggle at times. So,
And
um,
things come up, right? Like we can, and I think that's too like the biggest thing, like being a parent, working from home, all of these different things that we do is like I can make the perfect plan for myself, but I also in my planning, I schedule in time for those oops moments that happen.
oh
Things
wow, I have
happen.
never thought of that.
So,
Yeah,
like, I give myself a little bit of grace in my schedule because then all it does is it open up for, oh, here's a little bit of extra time because, oh, I had to take Ezra to the hospital because he fell and hit his head and I got to check on him. I mean, things happen. I mean, and it seems like with kids, a lot more things happen to disrupt
yeah.
things. So when I have that in, then I'm not stressing so much about like, oh my gosh, I didn't get those emails written. Oh my gosh, I didn't get that social media done. I have that scheduled in so that way I can do those things and being more flexible with my schedule, especially during the summer because my kids are home. So my work time shifts a little bit. So
I will I cannot wait to hear and because what you have for us because and I'll tell you why because that's something I know I struggle with many times of figuring out, you know, for example, this morning I had a couple of things I wanted to get done and I had time for one of them. And so I'm kind of adjusting and learning my rhythm now,
yeah.
but it was just to have those tips that like I saw a live you did yesterday about how to use chat gpt and oh my gosh, I mean I use it a lot but I learned so much from you on how to save so much time.
Thank you.
So I wanted to shout out Roxanne. Good morning, sweetheart. She said good
Morning.
morning ladies, and Facebook user said hello. So I don't know your name, but so Martha, what would you say is some of the biggest and common challenges that moms often face. Um, and how does this because you have a workshop coming up, very excited about. How is this workshop going to address those? Because I
Right.
feel like you have some different, you have some. Yours is going to be different from what I understand, and I want to share with the audience about how you feel like your this workshop's a little different than the regular.
Okay. Thank you. So I think like one big challenge that we can have sometimes is, and I know Tanya, you and I have talked about, is like is those transition times. Like, right? It's not just when you're just on an island by yourself. Like things can just kind of flow. I mean, things come up and down, right? But things can kind of just flow. But when you have kid schedules to account for, right? They're in school. So then that transition to summer break is a huge time. That transition back to school. So it's never like, okay, great, I got this scheduled figured out. We're going along, we're going along. We're just going to keep going along smooth sailing. It's like, oh no, wait, 3 months in. Oh, we got to change this. Or the holidays come up. So
Yeah,
it's like figuring out and giving yourself some grace in those transition periods, knowing that you may have to do something different, and not everybody does, but knowing that it's okay. It's okay to try to find your footing again, like you're in it struggling together. So like that first week that my kids had off for summer break, like I'm in like almost my third week of summer break here with my kids already. And some people haven't started yet, but especially that first week, I know I need to schedule a little bit lighter with the things that like, being online and that type of stuff. I know I have to get my kids used to that ebb and flow same
Oh, yeah.
thing, because it's not just about like me, it's about them too. And then I also have like changed my mindset around that, like they're the reason. That's one of the biggest things too. Like they're the reason that I am doing what I'm doing. And I think for a lot of women who are working from home, who have, kids and that, like that has been a big reason why they've made that shift. So they could be there and be able to do those things. But then I think it's easy to get caught up in, once I reach this amount of money that I'm earning, once I do this, then I'll go to all those things. Once I do that, and it's easy for us to forget that the kids are the reason why we did this to begin with. And so that's where, in like this workshop that I'm going to be having, it's helping you figure out what that plan is, figuring out a personalized plan where you're not like figuring out a plan for work over here, a plan for the kids over here. We're meshing it all together so that way you can account for those hiccups that happen and that type of stuff. So
I will say that is, what you said was so true. A lot of times we want to wait. And I remember feeling this way, especially when I was brand new in the network marketing industry. I was, I had such a passion and drive that I thought, okay, as soon as I get where I want to be, I'll have all this extra time to spend with my family. And what I realized was I lost some time with my family for no reason. I could have kept done both, right? I just wasn't sure how at the time. I felt like that was my only option. And the fact that you're giving people options, and I want to shout out because I think when I saw when Roxanne came on, it just dawned on me that, this can also apply to, as us grandmothers, is we have grandchildren, but we also have our parents that we sometimes have to change our life to help them.
yeah.
And so I just think the tips that you're sharing and the things that you're able to, some of the problems you're able to solve for the people, for your audience, is really invaluable for not just moms, but us grandmas and us women and men that have to consider the future of other people that we're going to be taking care of. And I don't know who Facebook user is. I'd love to know, but she is a mommy to 8 kids and she gets everything you're saying. She relates to this. And I want to say hi to Kim McClure. I'm so glad to see you on here.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes, we're so excited to see y'all. So I just want to know what kind of inspired you to create this. Oh, hey Vanessa, this business balance blueprint workshop. What inspired you to do this? I'm feeling that we've all got that impression, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's something there, and I haven't talked to you about this, but I feel like there's something there. Like, love to dig that out of you and find out exactly what really got you to this.
So I think I've been doing these different things that I'm going to be doing in the workshop for a while in my business, at home, and stuff for myself. And it's interesting that you like brought up, like, it's not just like about the kids too, because I'm an older mom, right? So I do have older parents. And just short, like 4 years ago, my husband's parents got very, very sick. So I ended up also becoming like a caretaker for them, helping them. Plus, at the time, I had 2 little ones. So, and working a business and all these things, and I feel like as like parents, grandparents, like being busy, there's always an and
Mhm.
we're doing this. And you figure it out, right? Like we just figure it out. But sometimes, I was like, it was like white knuckling it, trying to figure out. I was tired. I was not nice a lot. I mean, I got to be honest, I wasn't being nice to, like, I was nice to everybody else on the outside, but like we'd get home, I was not nice to my husband because I was tired. I was mad. I was like trying to figure it out. And I'm like, you just get to go to your work all day and I'm at home trying to do, the kids, the work, all of it.
Mhm.
And so it was trying to get that transition. So figuring things out, having that trial and error. And it's like all of a sudden I had this aha of like, why am I, you know, why am I white knuckling this? There's easier ways to do it. Yeah, I know it's scary. Like we can all be there too, right? There's
Mhm.
easier ways to do it. It's like I'm also sober. And so like
20 years, right?
yeah, it will be 20 years on Saturday.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
But it's the same thing. Like there's all these tools that I've learned in my sobriety to make it easier where I don't feel like I'm white knuckling that. And yes, even with 20 years in, there's still like ebbs and flows and ups and downs of everything. So
Yeah.
why could this not transition over with everything else in my life? Um, and what I also realized I was doing was like was compartmentalizing my life. Here's my business, here's my family, here's my health, here's, my friendships. And the truth is it sucked. I mean, sorry, but it did. Like, congratulations on sobriety. That's amazing.
Oh, congratulations.
But it's hard. Our life isn't compartmentalized. It's messy. And so once I started embracing the messiness in all of it and started figuring out every week, here's like a couple things that I do. Every week, I go through and I set a timer, like 10 minutes, and I dump everything out of my brain that I think that I have to do for the week. And some things are not reality. It's like, I need to write a book. Well, it's not happening this week, but if it's in my head, it just needs to get out. I don't judge it. And then I step away. I take like a 5-minute walk or whatever, run around my house with the kids or something. I come back, I look at the list, and I pick my top 3 things for the week that I have to get done. Those are like my non-negotiable. These are my top 3 things. Everything else I will like work on my schedule to fit in, but those top 3 things, if I get those done, then I'm like, okay, great. I'm being productive. I'm able to focus and get those done.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, like a big aha for me on why I realized there's so many parents out there that are like white knuckling this journey, and we don't have to.
Well, and it's like we feel like we have to, right? Even though you just feel like that's the way. I mean, as women, we're just used to getting through things, right?
Yes.
Because there's not another choice. We just got to do it. And
Yes.
so we come into an online space that, like you said, we create this online business, this amazing online business that we become entrepreneurs. That is such a blessing, and we're just white knuckling through it because we don't know how else to do it. Right? It's like, well, and it's like this to-do list, this never-ending to-do list, and it can get very overwhelming and frustrating. And that's when we come into the stage of like burnout, right? We're like, I
Mhm.
am so tired of doing this long to-do list. What can I do to make this easier,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's some of the things that you're going to be sharing with us, not only in this workshop, but you also have a free tip sheet that you can give us. I'm not sure, I don't remember what you called it, but I
It's
have a link.
it's a moms and business power planner. And
Oh, wow.
it's not like your year calendar planner. This is like a workbook where you can do your brain dumps, where you can figure out like what are you tolerating that you don't need to tolerate anymore, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are the little things? Is there a doorknob that keeps falling off the door that it would literally take you 2 minutes to, you know, grab a screwdriver, put it back on, but we just tolerate those things. I mean, I'm using that as an example.
Yeah, but that's a great example because I mean, there's times I look around my office, I'm like, who's going to ever fix this stuff? Who's ever,
It's
like
got
in
to
my
be
house?
me,
Like in
right?
my house, and I live on a farm, so there's always something to
Yeah.
fix, right? And I always sometimes I look at it going, isn't someone ever going to fix that? And I'm like, okay, well, who else is going to do it? Except,
Yes.
especially if you have no one else at home to fix things. It's just,
Yeah. And it has like a weekly where you can like set up your weekly schedule. So it's more of like a weekly thing. And then like looking back on like, what are your quarterly goals? What are you wanting to do? And it puts face first your why. Like, what is your priority on that? So
I
it is
love how
not
you break it in.
it is not able to be used on an iPad as digital yet. I'm working on that. So,
Well, and I want to, because I know we're kind of coming down to the time, and
mhm,
I want to say something that I felt was really unique about your workshop that I was actually very excited when I heard this, because you are talking right now about how to get through the summer.
mhm,
But what you mentioned earlier, Martha, about, you know, when you think you're just getting things going and then school starts, right? And what, like you said, like there's all this stuff you have to do. No matter how well you have things planned, some things just get through the cracks. And then you get the school kids off. I'm like, okay, they're at school. I've got all this time. And then the holidays come. And
yep,
there's always something that pops up in the between that.
yes.
And so what I love about your work, and maybe I'm not supposed to tell anybody,
I
I don't
know.
know if
It's
this
in
is a secret.
it's on the page. It's in with my
Okay.
bonuses. Yep, yep.
But as the seasons come and the different ebbs and flows of life come, like holidays and schools and things that get in our way, from what we want to achieve, right? Because
Yeah.
we will tend to, a lot of times, we will sacrifice one or the other, don't we? We
Yes.
will be, okay, I'm going to focus on my kids because I've been neglecting them. So you focus on them and then your business goes to pot. And then
Mhm.
trying to get that back going can be a challenge, like that momentum go back. So
Yes.
I love what she's going to do. So once you get her course, her workshop, once she's going to be adding for free, like it's not an extra charge. Like I'm like, oh, this is so cool. The seasons and how to handle that particular season, and so that's
Yeah.
really exciting.
Yeah.
So
So you get
uh,
all the like once you do it, you get all the like additional modules I'll add in for that. So
that is
yeah,
amazing. That
absolutely.
is amazing because it is extremely reasonable. All right. So, but we have a gift that you're going to give today, the
Mhm.
planner. And so, how is the best way they can do that? Do we, how to connect with you? What are the ways to connect with you?
Okay. So with the planner, if you just go to momsinbusinessplanner.com, you can get the planner right there. If
Let me
you
try.
decide you want to go ahead and join the course with us, it's only $37. We're kicking off on June 12th at 11 a.m. Central. And I'm like, all of a sudden I got to do math. I'm like, wait, that's right, right? Yep, 11 a.m. Central. And if you cannot make it live, it's okay. It's all going to be recorded. It will all be in
Is
um,
that right? Moms
yep,
in business.
Moms and Business Planner.
Okay, good. Because that's why I wanted you to see it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Um, and and that is just at businessbalanceblueprint.com. And with it, you're going to come away with that personalized plan for you, right? To figure out what all that is. Because we all have something a little bit that makes us different that we need to do. So it's like figuring out how to do it and to save you time. I think that's the biggest commodity that we think that we're being very time savvy sometimes, like I'm so busy I don't have time to do anything, but the reality is we haven't like dug in enough to realize the places that we may be wasting a little bit of time. So
Well, and I think that's so valuable because I've done that before. I've looked at my time. I'm like, I never have enough time. And I'm like, wait a minute, I do have the time. And then a lot of that time is I'm spinning in my head, right? And because I didn't have any way to break it down, right?
right.
Like, I think that that's what's important. What you're helping is to kind of break that down. And what you said about that brain dump. I mean, Diane loved that. She's like, okay, I need some of that. Um, and let's see if we've missed uh, any comments. Yeah. No, I think we've got them.
Yeah.
Got them. So Martha, thank you for coming on here. I think that the world of business moms are going to be so excited that you are out there helping them and offering solutions. I just want to, would be your one thing that you would want to leave with? You know, if you have a quote or just a message that you want to be sharing with the world today before we close?
I like I there's kind of two things that tie together. First of all, I feel like we need to give ourselves a little bit more grace, but in that, realize that we're not alone. Like, I think it's so easy to, like, it's easy for me to come back, even like after I get off here, go look at my house and see like, oh my gosh, my house is trashed right now. Like it's just a reality, but we're not alone in that. But we can start to feel like we're not doing enough. So I
Mhm.
just want you to know you are rocking it. Like we're all doing amazing, but we're not alone. And I think that's my biggest thing is like once people start pulling back the curtains of like the reality of how life is, that's when we can start to make those changes and know that, hey, we're figuring this out. So,
I love that. I absolutely love that. And someone's going workshop. I'm going to be joining you. So
yay,
you've got
thank
people
you.
jumping at this. They're
I'm so
leaning in.
excited.
They're
Thank
wanting
you.
this. And I think what you're doing is such an amazing service. And I thank you. And
Thank
I
you.
just have been so honored to be able to be in your presence and be able to see the things that you're able to achieve. And I even had Martha helping me with my Pinterest, and like I am still not able to really get in there and figure it out. And she was just like doing it, and I'm thinking, how does she do this? Like I know she's a busy mom, right? And she had her own business, and she had other things going on. And I'm like, and I knew she was helping other people with their Pinterest, and I'm like, how in the heck does she have time? I can't even get my thought together on what to create in Pinterest. And here she is going bloop, bloop. Every day I had this amazing stuff being thrown out. So
Aw,
anyway, I'm real excited for this workshop. I will definitely be joining you.
me
So
too. I'm so
yeah,
excited. Thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. It was
yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. Yeah, we're glad we're here. And I love that we had so many people pop on. It was wonderful. Someone and the Vanessa, I think, has sent a wink. I love that she winked because she was relating to one of your comments. But
Yes.
anyway, love y'all, and we'll see you next week at 9 o'clock for another marketing minute. And Diane says great stuff. So
Well, thank
thanks.
you.
Bye bye.